Autumn's unexpected harmony, love, laughter, and Floury mishaps. Part 3, by Black Orchid. In the heart of Edmonton, within the cozy confines of Everlasting Love Bridal Boutique, a moment of heartfelt anticipation was about to unfold. The air was thick with emotions as Kaylee, her two younger twin sisters, Kiara and Chloe, and their grandmother, Carla, gathered around a large mirror. The bridal dress fitting marked a poignant milestone, a realization that Kaylee was about to embark on a new chapter of her life as a bride. The wedding planner, a beacon of calm amidst the excitement, stood nearby, overseeing the final dress fitting with a watchful eye. As the family gathered around, the room seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the unveiling of the gown that Kaylee had kept a secret until now. Kaylee's heart raced as she stood before the mirror, her fingers trembling as she reached for the gown that held her dreams. The dress, a dreamy white A-line ball gown, featured a scoop neckline adorned with delicate jewel-capped sleeves that accentuated her collarbone with a romantic elegance. The dress seemed to have been designed for her, a reflection of her personality, grace, and the love story she shared with James. With the help of the bridal boutique staff, Kaylee slipped into the gown, her breath catching as she looked at herself in the mirror. The dress flowed around her like a cascade of dreams, and the tulle veil, cathedral length and ethereal, was the perfect finishing touch. Nestled in her hair was a jewel hair brooch, a cherished heirloom from her late mother, passed down to her by her grandmother. A tangible connection to her roots, a silent reminder that love had no boundaries. The room fell silent as Kaylee made her way out of the dressing room to her family in the display area. Her sisters had tears shimmering in their eyes, their hearts undoubtedly overflowing with pride and love for their eldest sister. But it was her grandmother Carla whose gaze held the most profound emotion. As tears welled in her eyes, Grandma Carla began to speak, her voice soft yet resonant with memories. "I remember when your mother got married," she said, her words carrying a sense of nostalgia. "She was only 18, and I thought she was so young. But when I saw her walking down the aisle, I saw how much she and your father loved each other. It was a day of pure happiness, one she always held close to her heart." A hint of sadness flickered in Carla's eyes as she continued. "She always said it was one of the happiest days of her life, second only to the days she gave birth to you and your sisters." The atmosphere was filled with a mixture of emotions, from tears to tender smiles. Grandma Carla's memories had stirred something deep within each of them, a reminder of the legacy of love that had been passed down through generations. With a loving gaze at Kaylee, Grandma Carla smiled through her tears. "And now, my dear, it's your turn. I have no doubt that your mother would be so proud of the woman you've become. You're about to create your own beautiful memories." Kaylee's heart swelled as she embraced her grandmother, the weight of the gown and the weight of her emotions intertwined. The moment was a delicate balance of joy and remembrance, love and loss, as generations connected through time and shared experiences. Amidst the shared sentiments, the wedding planner stepped forward, offering a gentle smile to Kaylee. "Everything is falling into place beautifully," she assured Kaylee, handing her a final checklist and schedule. "The autumn wedding is going to be breathtaking, and with your dedication and James's support, the second location of rituals will be a success." Kaylee's heart swelled with determination, the same determination that had brought her to this moment. With the love of her family and the strength of her partnership with James, she knew that juggling the tea shop's expansion and the wedding planning would be a challenge they could overcome. After her appointment at the bridal shop, Kaylee walked into the bustling construction site of their new Rituals tea shop, her steps filled with purpose and excitement. The air was tinged with the scent of fresh paint and the hum of busy workers, putting the final touches on the space. James stood at a corner, his brows furrowed in concentration as he reviewed some paperwork. His suit seemed a bit rumpled, and the stress lines on his face were evidence of the demanding days they both had been facing. As Kaylee approached, the lines on James's face softened into a warm smile that was reserved only for her. His eyes sparkled with love and relief as he swept her into his arms, his lips claiming several kisses that felt like a sanctuary amidst the chaos. "Hey, beautiful," he murmured against her lips, his embrace reassuring and comforting. "Hey yourself," she replied, a soft chuckle escaping her. "How's everything coming along?" James leaned back, his gaze sweeping over the construction site. Busy, but we're getting there. Just a few last-minute details to iron out before the big opening this weekend. She nodded, understanding the weight of his responsibilities. Well, I have good news to share. His eyes brightened with curiosity. Oh, do tell. Kaylee grinned. The final dress fitting went fantastic. The gown is everything I ever dreamed of, and Grandma was there to share in the moment. James's smile widened, his pride evident. I'm so glad to hear that, sweetheart. He then shifted the conversation to their upcoming interview with the Edmonton Daily, their local newspaper. As the couple behind the fast-growing rituals venture, their success story had attracted attention, and the paper was featuring them in its midweek Business Insider section. Remember, it's in 2 hours, James said, his tone playful yet firm. You do remember, right? Kaylee tried to suppress a smile, feigning innocence. Of course I remember. It's on my mind. James chuckled, seeing through her attempt. You know, it's okay to admit if you need a little reminder here and there. A mock glare graced Kaylee's expression. Are you implying I'm forgetful? Absolutely not, he replied with a grin. Just proactive in helping you stay on top of things. With a resigned sigh, she nodded. Fine, you caught me. I might have lost track of time. See? Honesty is the best policy, he teased. James then steered the conversation to a more practical matter. And speaking of being proactive, you really need to consider hiring an assistant soon. You can't do it all on your own, Kaylee. She rolled her eyes playfully, but knew he was right. I know. I promise I'll start looking into it. He nodded approvingly. Good. I've already got our usual hiring agency on alert. They'll be sending over some candidate profiles soon. Kaylee sighed, a mix of exasperation and gratitude. All right. I'll check them out. As the minutes ticked away, the couple's conversation shifted, and they delved into the details of the upcoming interview. They anticipated questions about how they balanced their business and relationship, the challenges they had faced, and the lessons they had learned. They shared stories, laughed at the mishaps, and marveled at how far they had come since their chance encounter at Sugar and Spice. Late that afternoon, they meet with Miss Jewel Richards, a writer from Edmonton Daily's Business Insider. They had what they thought was a fruitful interview. The day of the tea shop's grand opening arrived amidst an atmosphere of anticipation and excitement. A crowd had gathered, a mix of loyal patrons, curious locals, and media personnel armed with cameras and microphones. The aroma of freshly brewed tea wafted through the air, and the carefully designed space shone like a gem amidst the town's bustling business zone. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was a moment of triumph, Kaylee and James holding the scissors together as they officially opened the doors to their second rituals location. Cheers erupted from the crowd, cameras flashed, and the event was live-streamed on social media platforms. As the doors swung open, the tea shop buzzed with activity. People sampled tea, indulged in pastries, and mingled amidst the warm ambiance. Reporters approached Kaylee and James, asking questions about their journey, their inspiration, and the magic behind rituals. Amidst the sea of faces, their eyes met, a silent exchange that spoke volumes of their shared pride and gratitude. The day was a resounding success, a culmination of their hard work, love, and dedication. As the sun set on the horizon, casting a warm glow over the town, Kaylee and James stood side by side, watching the tea shop flourish with life and laughter. The journey had been filled with challenges, but in this moment they knew it had all been worth it. Part 2. Unfavorable publicity. 2 weeks before their wedding, an inexplicable feeling of unease tugged at Kaylee's gut. Her early morning routine remained unchanged, despite the nagging sensation. Prayer, devotion, exercise, breakfast, and her daily rituals at both Sugar and Spice Bakery and the Rituals Tea Shop branches all flowed as usual. Yet, an unshakable sense of something being amiss lingered. As the phone call from James came through, her cheerful greeting was met with a tone that didn't match her vibrant spirit. "Good morning, babe," she said, trying to infuse her voice with warmth and positivity. "Good morning," James responded, his voice laden with a weight that unsettled her. "Are you okay?" she asked, concern evident in her voice. He sighed and launched into an explanation that took her aback. He told her about an article in Edmonton Daily Business Insider, an uncomfortable piece that cast them in an unfavorable light. The writer, Miss Jewel Richards, had portrayed them as a fame-hungry couple, suggesting that their relationship was being exploited to further their business success. She questioned the authenticity of their responses during the interview and hinted at the legitimacy of their relationship. Kaylee's heart plummeted as James recounted the accusations made in the article. He went on to explain that the writer was likely influenced by Aaliyah Quinton, the daughter of a powerful family in Edmonton, who harbored unresolved feelings for James and had an agenda against them. She was the editor at the Business Insider. James urged Kaylee not to take the article too seriously, emphasizing that it was just a result of bitter intentions. Yet, Kaylee's frustration simmered beneath the surface. She felt humiliated by the negative light the article painted her in, and how it questioned the legitimacy of their relationship. She hated that their love was being scrutinized and reduced to a publicity stunt for business growth. As the conversation progressed, their frustration turned into a heated argument. James seemed to dismiss the impact of the article on Kaylee, suggesting that she needed to develop a thicker skin to succeed in the business world. The uncomfortable silence that followed their exchange pushed Kaylee to mumble an excuse and hang up abruptly, her anger spilling over into tears. A mixture of anger, humiliation, and betrayal flooded her emotions. How had they spiraled into such a heated exchange? She questioned whether they were rushing into marriage and business too quickly, and if they should have given their relationship more time to grow before taking such significant steps. The rest of the day was a blur of paperwork and avoiding the public eye. The support of her workers offered comfort, but the uncertainty continued to gnaw at her. Her phone buzzed repeatedly with calls from both James and her wedding planner, but she refused to answer, her anger and hurt driving her to distance herself. Her employees tried their best to uplift her spirits, voicing their disbelief in the hurtful accusations. Meanwhile, Ritual's tea shop's publicity stunt trended on social media, sparking a mix of opinions. James's calls went unanswered, and even the wedding planner's attempts to reach her were futile. After the lunch rush, Kaylee confided in her sisters, who were also her store managers, that she needed a break and asked them to cover for her. She found solace by retreating to a quiet jetty by a serene lake, a place she hadn't visited in years. The solitude allowed her to reflect on the journey that had brought her to this point, and she released her pent-up emotions. Time slipped away, and before she knew it, the sun was setting. Panic set in as she checked her phone, seeing numerous missed calls from her worried grandmother. She immediately called her. At first, Grandma Carla was grateful she was okay. She then launched into an epic scolding of Kaylee. She then ordered Kaylee to come visit her before she headed home. Kaylee was greeted with a warm bowl of chicken soup and fresh dinner rolls just out the oven. She sat there, pour her heart out while indulging in her grandmother's food therapy. Grandma Carla's words of wisdom offered both stern advice and tender understanding. She reminded Kaylee that the higher she climbed, the more obstacles she would face. She encouraged her to not let the opinions of others dictate her self-worth, and to use these challenges as stepping stones to grow stronger. Relationships, just like businesses, will always face testing moments, Grandma Carla gently stated. How you react will determine your path. You need to find a way to communicate better. The conversation also nudged Kaylee to reflect on her own behavior, acknowledging that she should not throw James's family wealth in his face during their arguments. The next morning, the sun peeked over the horizon, casting a warm and gentle glow on the world around them. A weary-looking James sat on Kaylee's porch, his eyes reflecting the weight of the previous day's turmoil. His mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, regrets, and hopes for reconciliation. He stared at the patterns the sunbeams painted on the ground, lost in the midst of his contemplation. Then the porch creaked under the light steps of Kaylee. As if sensing her presence, James turned his gaze toward her, his heart skipping a beat at the sight of her. Her expression was a mixture of vulnerability and determination, a mirror to his own emotions. "Hey," she said softly, her voice carrying a hint of apprehension moving towards him. They sat side by side on the swing, a comfortable silence settling between them like a familiar embrace. The morning was still young, and the world seemed to hold its breath, allowing them the space they needed to mend what had been strained. Kaylee's fingers traced idle patterns on the wooden armrest, her gaze fixed on her hands as she struggled to find the right words. "James, about yesterday. I'm sorry. I let my pride and anger get the best of me. I shouldn't have reacted the way I did." James turned to her, his eyes gentle and understanding. Hey, don't apologize. I should have been more considerate of how my words might have hurt you. I didn't mean to belittle your feelings. Kaylee let out a sigh, her eyes finally meeting his. It's just, I've worked so hard to build my reputation and my business. That article hit a nerve and I let it consume me. I get it, James said, his voice soft. I do. And I should have been more empathetic instead of telling you to grow thicker skin. That was insensitive. A small smile tugged at the corners of Kaylee's lips. We're both learning as we go, aren't we? James nodded, his gaze unwavering. Yeah, we are, but you know what? That's okay. We're learning together. There was a poignant pause, their eyes locked in a silent exchange that spoke volumes. And then, as if guided by an unspoken understanding, they leaned in toward each other, their lips meeting in a gentle kiss that carried the weight of their apologies, their forgiveness, and their commitment to each other. As they pulled away, Kaylee's fingers found their way to intertwine with James, their hands fitting together like pieces of a puzzle. I love you, James. His grip on her hand tightened, his eyes filled with unwavering affection. And I love you, Kaylee. We're in this together, no matter what. She rested her head on his shoulder, a sense of peace settling over her. You're right. As long as we're together, we can face anything. The next day, Ritual's Tea Shop released a statement to the public. In light of the recent article published in the Edmonton Daily Business Insider, Ritual's Tea Shop would like to address the claims made and provide clarity to our valued customers and supporters. The article in question has portrayed Ritual's Tea Shop in a manner that doesn't accurately reflect our values, vision, or the essence of our journey. We want to assure our community that the allegations presented are both misleading and far from the truth. Ritual's Tea Shop was born out of a shared passion for creating welcoming spaces where people can indulge in delightful teas, delectable pastries, and exceptional service. Our journey has been one of dedication and hard work, built on the foundation of values that have been instilled in our founder, Kaylee Simmons, from a very young age. Before her journey with James Hilson began, Kaylee Simmons embarked on her entrepreneurial journey with Sugar and Spice Bakery. From a modest start, she nurtured her bakery into a beloved establishment that has garnered the loyalty and trust of countless patrons. The success of Sugar and Spice Bakery is a testament to her tireless efforts, creativity, and commitment to excellence. Rituals. Tea Shop is a natural progression of Kaylee's dedication to providing outstanding dining experiences. It is not, as portrayed, a calculated move to capitalize on her personal life. Our tea shop is the culmination of years of hard work, and the result of a shared vision between Kaylee and James to offer a space where people can create meaningful memories. We want to emphasize that our relationship, while deeply meaningful to us, is only a part of our story. Our primary focus remains on our commitment to providing exceptional products and experiences. We are not using our relationship as a publicity stunt. Rather, it is the foundation that allows us to approach our business endeavors with authenticity and unity. We thank you for your continued support and invite you to experience the true essence of Ritual's Tea Shop, a place where every cup of tea tells a story and every visit is a cherished memory in the making. Part 3. It's Wedding Day. As the golden-hued autumn sun painted the town of Edmonton with its warm embrace, a sense of magic hung in the air, promising a day that would be etched into the hearts of all who bore witness. It was the day Kaylee Simmons and James Hilson had been eagerly awaiting, the culmination of their journey through trials and tribulations, leading them to this breathtaking moment. The grand cathedral stood with an air of regality, its doors wide open as if welcoming not just the guests, but also the love that had weathered storms and emerged stronger. Bells pealed in jubilant celebration, their joyous sound weaving a tapestry of anticipation and excitement. The setting was nothing short of enchanting, as nature itself seemed to partake in the celebration, adorning the surroundings with hues of amber, russet, and gold. Inside the cathedral, an atmosphere of serene beauty enveloped the space. The pews were filled with friends, family, and well-wishers, their hearts brimming with joy as they awaited the momentous union. At the altar, James stood resplendent in his tailored suit, his eyes fixed on the aisle, a mixture of nervousness and awe written across his handsome face. And then, in a breath-catching moment, the heavy wooden doors creaked open, revealing the radiant Kaylee, a vision of sheer grace and elegance. Her heart swelled with emotion as her father, Mr. Simmons, held her arm, guiding her toward the love of her life. She was a vision to behold. The air seemed to still as all eyes turned toward her, capturing the essence of her beauty, her strength, and the journey that had brought her to this point. Her steps were measured, each one a testament to the anticipation that hung in the air, a step closer to the man who had captured her heart. As she drew nearer, James's eyes locked onto hers, the rest of the world fading into insignificance. His heart pounded with a mixture of emotions, awe, gratitude, and an overwhelming sense of love that he couldn't put into words. Time seemed to slow as he watched her approach, her smile like a radiant beacon, her eyes sparkling with a mixture of excitement and tenderness. Kaylee's father, Mr. Simmons, stood tall and proud beside her, his heart a blend of bittersweet emotions. He had watched his daughter grow, witnessed her strength and determination, and now he was entrusting her to the man who had proven his love and devotion time and again. A tear glistened in his eye as he placed her hand in James', conveying his silent blessing. The exchange of vows was a symphony of heartfelt promises, each word echoing the depth of their love and commitment. Time seemed to stand still as they spoke of their dreams, their trials, and the unbreakable bond that had blossomed against all odds. Their voices, a harmonious blend of hope and longing, resonated throughout the cathedral, touching the hearts of all who were present. And then, the moment they had been waiting for arrived, the kiss that sealed their promise, their journey, and their future. The cathedral was alive with applause, the air filled with the joyous cheers of their loved ones, a resounding testament to the love that had conquered obstacles and emerged even stronger. As they walked down the aisle hand in hand, husband and wife, the cathedral's high ceiling seemed to echo with the collective sighs of admiration and affection. The autumn breeze brushed against their faces as they stepped out into the radiant sunlight, ready to embark on a new chapter of their lives. The reception that followed was a celebration of love, unity, and the unyielding spirit of two souls who had overcome every trial thrown their way. Laughter, tears, and heartfelt toasts filled the air as family and friends gathered to honor the newlyweds. The dance floor was alive with twirling couples, each step a testament to the rhythm of love that pulsed through the room. Underneath the starlit sky, as the evening air grew cooler, James and Kaylee found themselves in each other's arms once more. Amidst the twinkling lights and the soft strains of music, they shared a dance that felt like a whispered promise, a vow that they would continue to face every challenge and celebrate every triumph together. As the night grew late and the stars shimmered overhead, James leaned in close to Kaylee, his voice a tender murmur. "You know," he whispered, "this is just the beginning. Our journey is far from over, and I couldn't be more excited to see where it leads us." Kaylee's eyes sparkled as she looked up at him, her heart full to the brim. "And I couldn't imagine taking this journey with anyone else but you." And so, against the backdrop of a cool autumn night, under the watchful gaze of the stars and the blessings of their loved ones, James and Kaylee embarked on a new adventure, their love story continuing to unfold with every beat of their hearts. Subscribe to hear more romantic bedtime stories that will sweep you off your feet.